Close your eyes if you'd like, and let your mind drift to a time long ago, where the world feels vast and quiet under a blanket of stars. You're standing on the edge of a great sea, not of water, but of sand. The Sahara Desert stretches before you, endless dunes glowing faintly under the moonlight. It's the 13th century, and you're about to join a caravan in the Mali Empire, a place where traders, with their camels and their cunning, have turned this unforgiving landscape into a highway of wealth and wonder. This is a story of slow, swaying journeys, of salt slabs and whispered deals, of people who made the impossible seem ordinary. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let's walk together through the boring, soothing history of how ancient Mali traders mastered desert caravans. Picture yourself in Timbuktu, a bustling city on the southern fringe of the Sahara. It's not the sleepy outpost you might imagine. Oh no, it's a hive of activity, a place where the Niger River's gentle bend kisses the desert's edge. The air smells of dust and dried dates, and the streets hum with voices speaking Arabic, Songhay, and languages you can't quite place. You're a trader, or perhaps an apprentice, standing in a market square. Around you, merchants haggle over stacks of salt, their voices rising and falling like a soft lullaby. Camels grumble nearby, their long necks swaying as they chew on whatever scrub they can find. You're here to join a caravan heading north, across the Sahara, to trade for gold, ivory, and maybe a few stories to tell when you return. Your caravan is forming just outside the city walls, where the sand begins to claim the land. There are camels, hundreds of them, maybe 1,000, each one loaded with goods or waiting to be. These are dromedaries, single-humped beasts, the unsung heroes of the desert. You marvel at their strange, loping grace, their wide feet padding softly on the sand. Someone once told you a camel can go 10 days without water, surviving on just a nibble of grass. You're not sure if you believe it, but as you watch a cameleer tighten a leather saddlebag, you decide it's probably true. These animals are the ships of the Sahara, and you're about to sail across an ocean of dunes. Your guide is a Berber, one of the Amazigh people, whose knowledge of the desert is as deep as the sand itself. His name is Ammar, and his weathered face tells you he's crossed the Sahara more times than he can count. He's not much for words, but his sharp eyes scan the horizon, reading signs in the wind you can't even feel. The Berbers, you've heard, have been guiding caravans since the camel was first domesticated around 300 CE. They know every oasis, every hidden spring, and every dune that might shift to swallow an unprepared traveler. Ammar adjusts his indigo turban, the fabric stained with the sweat of countless journeys, and gives you a nod. "Stay close," he says, his voice low and steady, like the hum of the desert itself. You're handed a goatskin of water and a small sack of dried dates, your rations for the journey. The caravan is carrying salt mostly, mined from places like Takaza, where slaves carve thick slabs from the earth. Salt, you learn, is worth its weight in gold down south, where it's scarce and precious for preserving food. You run your fingers over a rough, heavy slab, wondering how something so ordinary could be so valuable. But then, you're also carrying bolts of fine cloth, glass beads that catch the sunlight, and a few manuscripts, books of poetry and astronomy that scholars in Timbuktu prize. In return, you'll bring back gold from the bambuk mines, ivory, and maybe some ostrich feathers, which seem to be all the rage in the markets of Fez. As the caravan sets off, you fall into step behind a string of camels, each tied to the one in front by a rope through its nose ring. The rhythm is slow, deliberate, about 3 miles an hour, and you're grateful for it. The sun is rising, but it's October, the cooler season, so the heat is bearable, for now. You walk barefoot, the sand cool under your feet in the early morning. The caravan stretches out, a long, sinuous line, like a snake gliding across the dunes. There's a kind of music to it, the creak of leather saddlebags, the soft thud of camel hooves, the occasional grunt of a beast protesting its load. It's monotonous, hypnotic, and you find your thoughts drifting as you walk. You imagine the journey ahead, 1,000 miles or more, from Timbuktu to Sijil Massa in Morocco. It'll take months, Ammar says. Maybe 3 if the winds are kind. You'll stop at oases, those rare islands of green where date palms sway and wells offer sweet water. The first stop, he tells you, is an oasis called Tadmeka, a few weeks away. You try to picture it. A cluster of mud brick huts, a market where traders swap stories as often as goods, and a spring that feels like a miracle after days of sand. You've heard tales of oases that vanish, mirages that trick even the sharpest-eyed guides, but Ammar seems unfazed. The desert speaks, he says, tapping his chest. You just have to listen. Days pass, and you settle into the caravan's rhythm. You wake before dawn, when the air is crisp and the stars still linger. The cameleers, mostly Tuareg men, move with practiced ease, loading the camels with a precision that feels almost ceremonial. Each beast carries about 350 pounds, split into saddlebags slung over its hump. You help tie down a load, feeling the coarse camel hair under your hands. The animals are fussy, spitting if you get too close, but you can't help but admire their stamina. One of the younger cameleers, a boy named Yusuf, grins and tells you his camel, Zainab, once carried a load twice her usual weight to evade customs duties. You laugh, unsure if he's joking, but his wink suggests he's not. The desert is vast, but it's not empty. You pass nomads herding goats, their tents like dark specks against the dunes. Sometimes a group of pastoralists joins the caravan for a day, offering fresh milk or guiding you to a hidden water source. You learn that these nomads, often Berbers or Tuareg, are both allies and threats. Some guide caravans for a fee. Others might raid a poorly defended one. Ammar pays tribute to a group of Sanhaja nomads, handing over a small pouch of beads. Better friends than enemies, he mutters, and you nod, grateful for his foresight. At night, the caravan stops at a caravanserai, a simple structure of mud brick walls surrounding a courtyard. It's not much, but after a day of walking, it feels like a palace. You sit by a fire, sharing a meal of flatbread and dried camel meat. The air is cool now, and the stars are so bright you feel you could reach out and touch them. Ammar tells stories of past caravans, of a merchant who traded a single ruby for 100 camels, of a sandstorm that buried a caravan only for it to emerge unscathed days later. His voice is low, almost a whisper, and you feel your eyelids grow heavy as the fire crackles. One night, you ask Ammar about the Mali Empire, the power behind this trade. He leans back, chewing a date, and tells you of Mansa Musa, the emperor whose wealth made even the sultans of Cairo jealous. He went to Mecca in 1324, Ammar says, with a caravan so large it stretched beyond the horizon. Camels carried gold, servants carried gold, even his slaves wore gold. You try to imagine it, a procession of thousands, glittering under the desert sun, spreading Mali's fame across the world. Musa's pilgrimage, Ammar adds, crashed the gold market in Cairo. So much did he give away. You chuckle at the thought of a king accidentally tanking an economy with his generosity. But it's not just gold that flows through these routes. You learn that ideas travel too. Islam, brought by Arab merchants, has taken root in Mali, shaping its cities and laws. Timbuktu, you're told, has libraries filled with manuscripts where scholars debate astronomy and poetry. You carry a few books in your caravan, wrapped carefully in cloth, and you wonder what stories they hold. The Wangara merchants, who join you at Tadmeka, speak of their travels along the Nidira River, trading gold and kola nuts. They're Muslim, like many in the caravan, and their shared faith makes deals smoother, their contracts sealed with trust. Weeks into the journey, you reach an oasis. It's smaller than you imagined, just a few palms and a muddy well, but the water tastes like heaven. You splash your face, feeling the grit of sand wash away. The caravan rests here for days, trading with local nomads who bring ostrich feathers and ivory. You watch a Wangara merchant, a woman named Fatimata, barter with a Tuareg cameleer. She's sharp, her laughter soft but commanding, and you realize women play a bigger role in this trade than you'd thought. Fatimata tells you her family has traded along the Niger for generations, their wealth built on gold dust and cunning deals. As you leave the oasis, the desert feels different, harsher somehow. A wind picks up, and Ammar squints at the horizon. "Sandstorm," he says, and your stomach tightens. But he's calm, directing the caravan to a low valley where the dunes offer some shelter. You huddle with the others, wrapping your face in cloth as the wind howls. The camels kneel, unbothered, their nostrils closed against the sand. Hours pass, or maybe days. It's hard to tell. When the storm clears, the desert is reshaped. Dunes shifted like a painter's canvas. Ammar finds the trail again, reading signs in the sand you can't see, and you marvel at his skill. Your eyes grow heavy, the world softens. You're back in Timbuktu, or maybe Sigil Masa, or somewhere in between. The caravan moves on in your mind, slow and steady, its rhythm carrying you to sleep. The Sahara stretches out, vast and quiet, and you drift, carried by the gentle sway of camels, into the arms of a dream.